Practice tests help because you get to know how the questions are framed and what are the possible options that could work and all that. So definitely, if wrong, but do not overthink too much is what I would say, because personally, even now till now, in all this 10 years of experience, right, I've never felt that I am ready for certain things. I'll always have this doubts. But am I ready for this interview? Am I ready for this thing? Am I ready for that? I'll never feel like that. But you just have to go and do it, and oftentimes it works out. So it's just the same thing. Just go and do it. It's fine even if you fail. I know that you do have a retake for the exam, right? So it's fine. At least you get an experience and you can retake the exam and know what you can do. But
Hi สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you for being here and to support this channel. If I could ever ask for a small favor, please consider subscribe to this channel. It's completely free, and right now about 92.8% of viewers unsubscribe. If you're one of them, I would like you to join me. Hitting the subscribe button is the biggest way to support this channel. If you subscribe, it will help me grow, do bigger and better things, and even push myself even further. If you do subscribe, I promise you that I won't let you down. But if I ever do, you are free to unsubscribe. But I truly believe that I won't. Thank you and enjoy the contents. สวัสดีค่ะขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่ It All About Serverless Podcast. Welcome to It All About Serverless Podcast, the podcast where we explore story and insight from people driving innovation in tech, from cloud computing to career transition and the world of serverless. We are here to encourage your next journey forward into technology. I'm your host, Natagan Futam. Today, I'm excited to welcome Dharani, a lead DevOps engineer at Eco Experts, leveraging over 10 years of experience to deliver impactful cloud solutions. She is currently leading the strategic cloud migration for a major UK stock trading client, ensuring a seamless and efficient transition. The Rani has proven track record in SRE, large-scale cloud migration, and building scale self-service data platform on Kubernetes. As a passionate mentor and international conference tech speaker, she enjoys sharing her expertise and empowering others in the industry. Dharani, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here.
thanks a lot, Nat, for that lovely introduction.
Thank you. Yeah. So I was looking at your LinkedIn profile and I noticed that back in 2015, you started your first role as a software engineer. I would love to hear about more at the beginning and how did you land your first job and how did you work your way up to where you're at today?
Cool. Yep. So it's an interesting journey, I'd say. Right out of college, I got into through college placements. Here, I got into Verizon at the time, and I started as a Java developer, as basically a software engineer, and I worked as a software engineer or a Java developer for almost 1.5 years. The thing is, when I started out, the project that I was handed over was a simple migration from old Java code to Spring framework at the time. So what I used to do was I used to open this VS Code or something, and then have two screens open, and then I had to copy code from one side to the next side, and change it. And eventually, after some time, right, I kind of found it a little bit boring because it was repetitive. I was not learning anything. And this was 2015. And I was in this kind of a stage for almost a year, and I was really frustrated. I reached out to my managers and my leads for the same. Fortunately, around that time, cloud was picking up. Like everyone were talking about cloud was the buzzword. AWS, mainly AWS at that time, and everyone were talking about it in my company. And luckily, I got an opportunity. Usually, it will go for the senior leads, but in my team, we just had three people, and usually the senior leads pick up these POC, and then they'll work on something like that. So we'll work on the rest of the deliverables. But luckily, I think at the time my senior lead was not available, so that work kind of fell upon me, and I did a very small POC. It was as simple as launching an EC2 in cloud, and then in AWS basically. And in this EC2, I did a probably a Apache HTTPD server. I launched an Apache HTTPD server which used to say hello, which will say hello world when you hit it. It was as simple as that. But for the first time, I felt like I was doing something, and it was interesting, and I found a lot of joy in it. I'm changing something in the UI or the console, and it ends up having these changes made in some remote place in North Virginia, where servers are getting connected, where firewalls are launched because I probably create a security group. I know that's all virtual and it's not actual firewalls, but the way I visualized it, it made it really interesting, and I think I never looked back. I'm still chasing that feeling of doing something, and then it actually affecting, or even if it's virtual servers actually in a remote place where I can connect to it, where I can do things on it. So that was really interesting, and that's how I kind of moved towards cloud around 2017 in India, and I've been working on it for almost 8 years now.
Wow, yeah. So I can relate because I was coming from COBOL background, and back then I was just bored too because it's just nothing to learn, and I really can resonate with you on that. So when you transition from migrating like Java to the cloud, is there any obstacle right when you first started? Like for example, yeah, like AWS has so many options in terms of service. How did you navigate your learning path, and if there's something really new and you're not familiar with it, how did you approach that?
Yeah. I would say my first company kind of played a role in it. We kind of had a training to the team on the cloud. So because cloud was the buzzword, everyone was talking about it. I kind of got a 1 week training where we learned about very simple stuff, basic services, AWS Route 53. You have your EC2 and AMIs and all of that, IAM rules, S3 bucket, and then the basic of the basic services in AWS.
Mhm.
And all 7 days, I took so much notes that I completed one whole notebook because I was really interested. This was really fun. And one more thing that kind of encouraged me was that since not a lot of people were doing it, even the small things that I did, very very small things that I did, maybe tagging to reduce the cost or something, was widely encouraged and talked about in meetings. And they were saying that this person, she's new, she's learning something, and she's doing something in the cloud. And since a lot of people were not exposed to that, right, it kind of got me really good recognition, and that was such an ego boost at the time. It's like I was flying because I felt really good because here I was. If I had done that in Java, there were legends in Java, right? There were people who have been there for years and years. I would have never been able to compete with them at that point of time because I was a fresher. But here I was doing these small changes, and I didn't do it for the encouragement, but kind of encouragement came in, and it kind of pushed me towards it a lot more. And I did a certification around that time, solutions architect, AWS solutions architect associate certificate, and I think scored around 84 or 85%. And I enjoyed learning it. I enjoyed going through the content and learning about it and all that. But still, even after all this, right, when an actual problem was given to me, when an actual issue was given to me to be solved, for example, one of the servers were not reachable, and they asked me to rectify why it was not happening. It took me 4 days to understand the whole networking pattern, like what is a security group, because I was going through all of this theoretically. And now when I try to implement this, that's when I had a lot of blockers. What is a route table? What is an ACL? What do you mean by stateful, stateless? So it was a really good learning experience, and I think I carry that learning even now. Like I kind of could say that I'm kind of strong in networking because of all the struggles that I faced in the beginning. Because I was confident theoretically, but when I put it to practice, I had a lot of learnings that I had to do. And I think it was organic. Like there was a problem statement, I had to solve it. I learned through it. Again, a problem statement, I had to solve it. So that's how the whole learning path had been.
Yeah, so yeah, so when you yeah, I can see how different between when you actually learning something, you taking certification, and then you implementing that, and sometimes you encounter like different errors, which is not from the course that you learned. So I like to talk about like couple things. So how did you prepare for the certification, and how long did it take you? Did you schedule the exam before you, like maybe like 3 months, and you time box and you studying? Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure, definitely. So I, at the time, again, my first company had subscription for A Cloud Guru, and A Cloud Guru had this amazing course for this solutions architect certificate. I think it's now available in Udemy, and at that point, I just went through that course. I think it took me a month or so because. How can I say this? I wanted to be the first person who completes the certification in the company. I kind of felt it'll be nice
Mm,
to get that recognition because it is special. I mean, no one has done it so far, and people, will respect it. Is what I thought. Certification rather than me going and saying, you know what, I know cloud. Rather than that, if they see that I'm certified, it'll add a lot of weight to my words. Is what I thought. So I was kind of in a hurry. I wanted to do that as soon as possible. So I think I took a month. I spent a lot of time. I had a 9 to 5, and then as soon as I come home, I used to read and go through this course content, and even before the exam, I still remember that day. I felt like I was not prepared, and maybe I thought I should have taken more time. But then scheduled it just like that. I thought, you know what, if it works, it works. And even after completing the examination, I felt like I did not feel a lot of confidence. I thought maybe I did not crack it because the questions are a little bit tricky, right? You will
yeah.
have four answers, and two to three answers will look almost the same. Like you'll feel that confusion whether you made the right choice or not. But fortunately, I was surprised to see. I think I got 84 or 85. I don't remember, but I was surprised to see that I got some nice marks. I thought I'd fail honestly when I came out, but. It was a good feeling to have known that I passed. But I think it roughly took me around a month or so, and I was like the second or third person in my company to have completed the certification. So, and that felt nice too.
Yeah, so then after you get certification, what was it like for the day on the exam? Will you feel pressure? Will you feel calm? Will you feel like you feel prepared?
Yeah, so I thought I was prepared. There were a few topics that I did not cover honestly. Like for example, I think I skipped a few topics in CloudWatch because it was a little bit boring for me at the time. So I think I covered around 85 to 90% of the content. And on the day of the exam, it did feel a bit nerve wracking. So this was before
Mm,
COVID, right? So we used to go to this exam center in my hometown. There was this exam center that I had to travel to, and that was the first time that I'm writing in an exam center like that. It is just a room full of PCs all separated by how can I say, some slides or something like that. And then I think I was the only person at the time writing an exam, and it kind of felt a little bit different from what I used to take in colleges or something like that, because all of my exams in college were written exams. There were no actual. I mean, we did have certain programming labs and all that, but this was a completely different experience where I was sitting in a hall full of computers and I was sitting alone, and it felt a bit nerve wracking. And again, the way of questions, right? Like that was also a little bit different from what I had been used to. Usually we do not have we usually we did attend, or we did had have multiple MCQs in my college and all that, but this was a little bit different in a way that I think, if I remember correctly, you would be given points even if it's a partially wrong answer. You would be given 0.25 or something, and 0.55 0.50 it's fully correct or something like that. So that I kind of attended a few practice tests, and from there I came to know a little bit on the scoring. I think I scored around 70% on it. I think, which was the pass percentage for the exam. So it was a bit nerve wracking. I just wanted to give it a shot. I thought, I'll never feel ready. I'll always feel like I haven't read something or forgot something, so let me go and just take it and see what happens. That's how my mindset was that day.
So then after you take the exam, you see the result and you pass. So how did you, if you could giving a tip for people that listening and from your learning path, what would that be?
Practice tests help because you get to know how the questions are framed and what are the possible options that could work and all that. So definitely, if once you've read the content, I would not recommend someone not reading the content but just going through the practice test. If they have some experience, then that's fine. But if they are new to cloud, go through the content at least once over and then go for the practice tests, and maybe take a couple of them, and you'll understand the flow of how the questions will be, what is right and what is wrong. But do not overthink too much is what I would say, because personally, even now, till now, in all this 10 years of experience, right, I've never felt that I am ready for certain things. I'll always have this doubts, but am I ready for this interview? Am I ready for this thing? Am I ready for that? I'll never feel like that. But you just have to go and do it, and oftentimes it works out. So it's just the same thing. Just go and do it. It's fine even if you fail. I know that you
Mhm.
do have retake for the exam, right? So it's fine. At least you get an experience and you can retake the exam and know what you can do. But don't wait until you feel like you are ready, right? Like, so that's something that I tell my juniors as well.
Yeah, that really resonates to me too, because sometimes when you schedule time and then when the dates come, you just kind of feel like nervous, anxious, and then you gotta do it. And then I failed a couple times, and then I retake the exam and I pass. So which is, yeah, and yeah. So transition from getting certification, and then after you have done all the studying, take this exam, and then so when you come back to the job, how did you implementing all the how does the knowledge that you have studied help your job afterwards?
That's a really good question, because I'd say maybe just 20 to 30%. Why I'm saying 20 to 30% is because now that I'm starting to work on it, the main thing that it helped me was to understand the terms. If someone says S3, I know it's a simple storage service. And then if it's CloudWatch, what is the purpose of it? If it's EC2, what is the purpose of it? Security group. So if I had not taken that exam, right, these terms would all have been very new to me. I would have had gone to another course or something to understand all of this. But going through the certification kind of solidified that, this term means this does, whatever we do with this happens, or kind of like that. But the actual implementation is where I learned a lot. So when I took my first project after that, it was a little bit challenging because I had moved to a new team. I had passed my cloud certification and I had all these credentials, and I had moved to a new team. So they kind of expected a lot from me right from the start. And I think it was in my second company itself. So they thought, I would know because I had completed the certification. But unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, but more like out of experience is where I learned a lot. Like when I set up something, even if it's a simple S3 bucket with a bucket policy that, from EC2 I can connect to it. I know that what is an S3 bucket, what is an IAM bucket policy, and what is a bucket policy, what is an IAM role, what is an EC2. But only when I set it up, I was able to understand the problems that might come and the connectivity issues that will be there, and small things that I learned. So yes, I wouldn't say it's not useful, but I would say 30 to 40% is how much I would say. The rest of it, I was whatever was relevant for the job, I could learn only while doing it.
Mm, yeah, that's happened to me too. And one thing about AWS is that when yeah, they launch new service or maybe they have some new feature, and
Mhm.
as a software engineer, we have to keep up with those services and technology. So what keep you motivated to keep learning, and how did you navigate if something new and then you want to implement that to the project that you have? How do you approach and how do you tell your boss?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question again. So, in my previous company, I had a mentor who told me this statement, which was the quality of your solution depends upon the quality of your knowledge. So if you have limited knowledge, then your solution will also be limited. So that is something that always encouraged me. He did not say, you have to do this, you have to do that. Whatever solution is a solution at the end of the day, but the quality of it will be always be proportional to the quality of your so the quality of the solution will always be proportional to the quality of the knowledge. So this kind of resonated with me a lot, so I always wanted to give the best quality. I try to even now. I might be missing the mark a few times, but I think it's natural, it's normal, we keep on learning, right? Because a lot of things happen and we might not be able to keep it up realistically, but I try to stay on top of it. How I do that is that I have a few newsletters that I've been having, following religiously. Not a lot, but for each of the services. For Terraform, I follow one newsletter. For AWS, I follow the actual AWS newsletter itself. And actual AWS, I think they whenever there is a release, right, they'll give you a newsletter. I think it's weekly or something like that. And then for Kubernetes, I have one, and for FinOps, I have one. So I have like 6 or 7 newsletters that I religiously follow, and that gives me an information about up to date things that is happening. And I technically will not have a lot of time, because I also have a 9 to 5 job, so I can't like spend 2 to 3 hours just upskilling myself on whatever is happening new. But I skim through it. If something interests me to the work that I'm doing, I'll read more on it, and then just keep it on mind. Sometimes it just clicks when you are finding a solution and you remember in the newsletter there was a solution that this was talking about, maybe I should read more about it. And that is how I try to make sure that I'm giving a quality output. And it's a learning process. It's a learning process every day. Even yesterday or day before yesterday, I was doing a POC and I was trying to understand the end to end for it. So it's been 8 years, and every day is a learning process for me.
Yeah, so and also I see that you're a speaker and you give a lot of talks too. Does that help your learning curve too? And yeah, because you said that you want to provide the best quality of your solution, but also it's depend on how much knowledge you have, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, so how does the public speaking and giving a talk help you learn?
Yes. So I think it's my third company where I started showing interest in this public speaking. I was first pulled in one of the calls, and I think the first talk that I did was around AWS Service Catalog, and I loved the whole process. It was not how can I say, I loved the whole session, like preparing for it and showing it, showcasing it, and then learning from it. And while explaining, I realized that I was part of multiple communities in my third company, and I was someone called as an anchor. We call anchors infra community anchor is I was called, which means that I used to conduct sessions, so that very similar to what you're doing, right? Like I used to conduct sessions for people. If someone does something technically, I'll ask them for a session, and then we used to have internal office wide sessions. And I also used to conduct sessions. I used to conduct a lot of boot camp sessions. Boot camp meaning people who wants to get into who want to get into DevOps and stuff. So we used to have something called as a boot camp where I was a trainer. And I realized that one beautiful thing was, whatever I was learning something, or whenever I was learning something new, if I share that session, if I share it as a mentoring session or even a knowledge sharing session, right, that I it always makes me think in a different perspective. And the questions that are asked during the session are really intuitive, and it'll make me think in a perspective, because whenever we are approaching a problem, right, we'll see it in a couple of perspectives that we have. But when we invite people and then we pull them in and we share that knowledge, even if it's not perfect, right, even it can be imperfect, even it cannot need not be a complete solution, but it's we invite people and then we ask for their inputs, and then we get different perspectives, and that made me see the whole solution in a different point of view and get better at it. And I also found that, fortunately, whenever I did that, whenever I conducted sessions, those concepts stick to me a little bit more than, let's say, me just going through it, reading things and that. So I kind of started liking the whole thing. In my third company, I used to conduct a lot of sessions like these. Whenever I learned something new, I used to immediately go to people and say, you know what, I'll conduct a session, I'll do a knowledge sharing, and then it kind of became a thing. And I think I'm trying to continue the same here too. It's a little bit hectic for me right now, but I am trying to do the same. Like if I learn something, I'm trying to share that knowledge. Even I think a couple of weeks back, I gave one talk in the serverless as well about Terraform testing. Yeah, the Terraform testing, and how you can use Claude or AI for that matter to generate Terraform test cases. So it kind of helps because it makes the concept stick better.
So how do you practice before you actually give in? Do you have any tips that you can give for a listener if they want to find a place where they like to start and then yeah, getting better each time? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I'd say just again, just go for it. Maybe it's like this Nike ad, right? Just do it or something like that. So just go for it. I know it will be nerve wracking. It's
Mhm.
fine. It's fine even if you're fumbling through it, even if it's something bad happens, right? That's a good thing about the tech community. They are very welcoming. Even if you make some mistakes, it's completely fine. A lot of people are worried about their image or how they will project themselves. What I would say is, let's say if you're having a session like this, usually what I do is, this is how can I say, this is more of a conversation or an interview kind of a type of a session, right? But let's say if it's a technical session, I'll just have like a record myself just before the call maybe, and then I'll go through the whole thing as if I'm delivering it, and I'll just go through the recording and see if I can see any improvements. It's fine even if I fumble there, but that helps a lot when I'm actually doing the thing, because it reduces your fumbles by almost 80 to 90% for me. And it's still, there will be fumbles, there will be problems, there will be people might feel that the way of delivery could be a little bit better, and basically you get the feedback and work on it and try to improve it next time. But yeah, I would say suggest just the first time is when you'll feel all that pressure. Once you do it for the first time, right, it becomes
Mhm.
easier the next time, and it becomes easy, much easier even after that.
Nice. Yeah. So yesterday I saw your talk, and this is something that it's going to really help other people because I have interviewed like the person before you, and she just kind of start getting into this, and she wasn't sure about how she should approach this, and then I told her that yeah, just come and talk, just like thinking like you're talking with your friend.
Hmm.
And then at the end she gave a feedback. Yeah, I really like it, and yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. So yeah, we're heading to the end, and I like to ask one more question in terms of career and the transition. So if you could give the advice for people that who maybe want to move into the cloud, and how do you would you yeah, I like to get some advice on maybe they could reach out to you, or maybe they try to start with some side project, or how yeah, is there any advice on that?
Yeah, definitely. So I do have a top meet setup where I do give free career guidance for people
Oh,
who are
okay.
transitioning to this role into cloud and DevOps, and it's completely free. It's open to people, and if you are a woman and a first generation graduate, and even if it's not that, right, even if you're a second generation, third generation, it doesn't matter. You can always reach out to me, and I usually have these 30-minute sessions where I guide them on what they can do, and try to understand where they are, and give them some tips based on my experience. So definitely people can reach out to me. I'll be really happy to help them out. And usually I conduct these calls on Saturday and Sunday, and I've conducted a bunch of calls so far. So it's there in my LinkedIn. I'll share my LinkedIn profile if that's possible through
Yeah.
this. And yeah, they can always go to my top mate and then connect with me. The second thing is, for people who are listening, or who might be listening to this call, if who have a doubt of going into cloud, right? What I would say is, uh, do not. There is a lot of content. Even people who have a lot of experience get overwhelmed sometimes. So, what I would suggest is not to get overwhelmed. The first step is choose a cloud. It can be AWS, it can be GCP, it can be Azure. It is completely up to you. But choose a cloud provider. Choose a cloud provider, and then don't worry about knowing all the services. That is a very difficult thing to do, right? Like, instead, choose the basic services. I'd even suggest, you don't even have to pay for anything. You can find some really nice courses on YouTube. And I personally use Udemy as well. In India, it is much cheaper. Like, oftentimes they have a price drop, so we get it for 599 rupees. I think it will be close to maybe $50. No, not even $50. $5, $5 to $6, if I'm not wrong. And so you get it for cheap, really nice courses, but by really amazing instructors for really, really cheap prices. Usually, I just refer to Udemy and YouTube mainly. I don't go for a lot of paid courses or paid things. And then second, choose a CI/CD tool. It can be Jenkins, it can be GitLab. Don't worry about knowing end to end of the tool. Try to understand the concept behind the tool, because wherever you're going, you just take the concept and apply it. And the third thing is Kubernetes and Docker, which is in cloud and DevOps. It has become irreplaceable, right? Everyone talks about it, everyone works on it. So if you want to transition into a cloud or DevOps role, try to see if you can upskill yourself on Docker and Kubernetes. And the fifth thing is fourth or fifth, I'm not sure. So the fourth or fifth thing is, if you want to get into that, or for the automation tool, there are multiple stacks. Again, you can use CloudFormation, you can use Terraform. But Terraform is one of the widely used tools. So maybe again, don't worry about going in deep, trying to understand each and every single thing, right? Just try to understand the basics. And then now that you have these five things, maybe take a week for each. And once you have some basic knowledge about all of these topics, start a small project, launch an EC2 in AWS, and then which gives you an HTTPD, welcome, hello, or welcome, or something like that. And then start building on it. Can see if you can launch it via Terraform. See if you can, instead of launching it in EC2, can you launch it in Lambda? Can you launch it in ECS or EKS as a Docker container in the EC2 itself? And then once you're comfortable with Docker container, try to see if you can launch it now in EKS as a Kubernetes setup with Docker pods running there. And then, try to build on top of it. And do not take a lot of time. So usually freshers who come to me, or a lot of people who want to come into this, right, they have this mindset of, what, I'll prepare for 6 months and then I'll go and do these interviews, and then I'll do these things. What I'd suggest to them is, it's fine, don't wait for those 6 months. You'll never feel ready. So the first month, even in the first month, start your project. Second month, start your project. It doesn't matter, right? And start attending interviews. And it's fine even if you fail, right? One thing that I tell a lot of my juniors or my mentees is, something of a statement that I always carry with me, which has helped me immensely all through my career, which is, it's better to be stupid by asking questions than be stupid by not asking questions. So it's fine even if people think you are stupid because you are asking too many questions, but I'd rather be that stupid than being a stupid person who's not asking questions. So don't worry about, people might think that I'm stupid, people might think that I'm not good enough, and that's fine, that's completely fine. But ask your questions, get it clarified, and then attend those interviews. It's fine if even if people think that you're not worth it or something like that. Doesn't matter in the long run. If 10 years down the line you won't even remember that incident. So yeah, just go for these interviews, be confident, and it's fine even if you fail, but you'll know what you have to learn in the next one. So it will give you, don't wait too long is what I say, because if you put a lot of time and in preparing and then waiting, what will happen is that you'll lose that momentum, and you'll lose that confidence. So just go for it. It's fine if you fail, you can learn from it and then go for the next one.
That's a great advice.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, so huge thank to Dharani joining the show and sharing great insight. It's been awesome having you here. So if you like the episode, follow for the podcast, share with your friend who love cloud and tech. Until next time, keep building, keep learning, and stay curious.
Thanks a lot, Nat, for this wonderful opportunity. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.